Hello. Hi everybody, my name is Yvonne. I am a machine learning engineer, aka self-engineer, that's how we call ourselves at Google, and I work at Gemini Cloud Core, and I have gathered a few questions here for you guys, like how did I become a self-engineer without a traditional CS background? Hopefully these questions that I'm answering for you guys are helpful and you can draw some useful insights for yourself. So let's get started. What did I study in college? I studied probability and stats in college and also econ, and I graduated fairly quickly in approximately 3 years. What was your first job before entering the tech industry? Well, I did a lot of part-time jobs while I was in college. At the first year of my school, I was coming from China, so my English was really bad. So my first job was like a student manager in a leasing office, managing about 14 other student employees, and it really trained my English very well. So that was my first job. And after that, I did research for about 2 years with two professors. One is in bio, UCSD, the school that I attended college for. Our bio program is really famous, so I find a really good professor. I did biostats analysis with him for about 1 year, and another professor in public health in medical school, and help her with hookah bar, Yelp review, and topic modeling for another year. So that was my experience well before I stepped into the full-time job. And my first internship was at IBM. It was a business analyst position, and then I transitioned myself to a software engineer position when I joined full-time, which is a very non-traditional experience because when I was interning, I was networking a lot with the people who are around me in the same office. So my sister team, they are a software engineering team. They focus on machine learning. They build open source models and data sets, which is quite interesting to me at the time. And all of the engineers on the team are very friendly and they're really solid. So I always had lunch with them, and well, at the last month before my internship ends, I was asking the manager if I can join one of their projects and work together. So and that project finished really successfully, and also it shows the capability that I can finish and work on their team. So we'll keep in touch with the manager after I'm back to school. Then I asked her when I got the offer from IBM, I was like, hey, I really love your team. Can I just join your team and switch to yours instead of joining the one that was interning for? And she said she will work on it. Like, she will see if there are opportunities for it. So my manager, Gabriella, she helped me to switch to her team. And then that really pivoted my career from ever since that. In a totally different trajectory, and I really appreciate her even to today. Did you consider getting a CS degree or attending bootcamp? I would definitely not considering getting another CS degree right now, or maybe a master program, probably not. But I'm definitely attending all of the bootcamps all the time, including the ones in Google or in IBM back then. So it's constantly learning on the job. I think that's very important. It's kind of more important to learn the really relevant info that you are doing on the job. And usually those bootcamp within the company is very relevant, or to the point of the tech stack that's whatever you're learning today is going to be applicable tomorrow. So I think those learning is more important than just go to school, because for a lot of knowledge, like for out of 80% of the knowledge you learn from school, it wouldn't be useful in the industry anymore. And especially with the fast pace of AI, a lot of things that you're learning right now in college might be outdated after 1 year or so, because we're in such a different time right now. I would recommend you to learn from online resources or learn from your internal company if you already have a tech job, or learning from maybe ask ChatGPT or Gemini about how would you approach to learn this concept. Make sure to use the AI tools as well as you can. That's my advice. What alternative learning methods did you use? I had a habit to read on Medium post and also search on LinkedIn and see what my friends are doing right now, what my colleagues are looking at right now, and what are the industry leaders they are pay attention to. So those are really, really important trends that I couldn't ignore. So that's a different approach I took from most of the people. What are the biggest challenges of not having a traditional CS background? Well, one of the biggest challenge is when you're interviewing, it's very hard to get through the legal questions. Or maybe not just for myself, for everybody that come from a computer science degrees, they're not trained to do all of these legal questions. It just, from my personal experience, is very hard because I didn't learn the data structures and algorithm from ground up. So there are a lot of gaps that I need to fill in for my knowledge. So that was the biggest challenge. What made you decide to transition from IBM to Google? My position at IBM, our team was open source. So one of the big upside is every code that we contribute is publicly available to other companies. So it's very easy to justify and to showcase what's my skill set. So they can just look at my GitHub, my PRs. But then we were doing all of these machine learning models and open source data set and build end-to-end solution that's deployable on IBM Cloud, which is very interesting for the first 2 years while I was doing that. But after a while, I feel like it's very repetitive and I want to do something more in depth, not like take a project and work on a few months and then it's done and now you go to the next one and it's on a different concept but applying to similar technology. I want to be able to build something in production level and maintain all the time and constantly improve the quality. So that's what I'm doing right now at Google in Gemini Cloud. We work on a chat backend system and constantly looking at the quality of the response of Gemini. And that's the reason I wanted to shift to Google. What was the interview process like at Google? I guess for all of these big FAANG companies, they always have similar interview structures. The first rounds are online assessment, or you would call it like phone interview, is a one round of legal questions. And if you get through that, then there will be 5 rounds of on-site interview. In the 5 rounds of on-site, usually one of them is behavioral, and one of them is system design, and the other 3 is legal questions. So that's what I've been through. And also I was added with one more round is machine learning system design, because my team that I wanted to join, they're particularly focused on machine learning and their Vertex team. So that was my experience. So six rounds of interview in total. How much time did you spend preparing before applying? Well, my experience while applying for a job is kind of different. I did spend a lot of time studying LeetCode, and now I kind of get into the routine to study approximately 2 to 3 LeetCode questions every day. I just brush up my memory all the time about LeetCode questions, and I know in this industry, LeetCode is something that you couldn't ignore of. If you do it really bad, it will be something like, how would I put it? Like the other way to put it is doing LeetCode well really worth your time to. I think it's a very high ROI thing to do LeetCode questions really well. So I definitely spend a lot of time to do LeetCode while preparing, and now I get into the routine of studying LeetCode 2 or 3 questions every day, or at least keep a regular cadence every week if I'm too busy at work, at least to brush up my memory about LeetCodes. And the other parts is about system design. Is there are a lot of online resources that are really well, or courses such as Grokking the Machine Learning System Design Interview course on educative.io, and there are a lot of emerging courses on educative.io such as about LLMs and system design, like how do you do RAG and AI agents. So those courses I found really, really helpful. And based on the existing resource on YouTube, you can also search up anything that you don't know, and it will have tons of resources popping up So reading from there are really important as well. Is Google's engineering culture different from other places? Google's engineering culture is definitely very well known for having a really high quality code and very high bar of code submission. So for example, if I want to make code changes, I need to have someone review the specific language who have the language readabilities to see if the code comments, the code structure is concise and clear enough. And on the other side is my team or team leads need to review that as well, or my colleagues, my teammate, they need to review my code changes. So in two-per spectrum, it's guaranteeing the high quality of code within Google. I think at Google, there are two major things as engineers. So firstly, we write really high quality code. We went through really rigorous code changes reviews when we want to submit code. Secondly is when we write design, is very well thought and well-rounded. We need to think about all of the trade-offs and also think about the short-term strategy and long-term. What are the things we can give up for, and what are the things we couldn't give up for, and based on the timeline that what we are implementing right now, and also what are the future potential improvement that we can choose from. What's one mistake you made in your journey that you would warn others about? One big mistake I will warn others about that I think I really regret that is don't have lunch by yourself all the time. So I was on the other spectrum. I joined IBM while it was pretty much quarantine. It was 2020, the beginning of 2020. And shortly after 3 months, we got locked down, and I was in SF at the time. So I was pretty much living at home for about 2 years. And it just ruptured my ideology about how networking and work at a big company look like. So I always have lunch by myself, even to today, sometimes at Google. But now I consciously put some time with my colleagues, ask them, do you want to have lunch together, and have lunch with different people. And a lot of really meaningful conversations come through that, just with a casual chat, what did you do on the weekend, right? And then what did you learn recently? And did you see any fun stuff? On one side, you can be friends, and also you can just know the person more. And on the other side is to build your network gradually. After you know each other and after you both work for 10 or more years or even 5 more years, there could be a lot of opportunities or potential that you will see each other again at different companies, or they will probably introduce you other jobs as well. So keep the connections open and willing to talk to more people, be an extrovert, which is really hard for a lot of engineers for sure. But yeah, definitely try that. Don't have lunch by yourself. That was my biggest challenges and lesson. How can non-CS grads make themselves competitive in the job market? I think now the degree doesn't mean a lot of things nowadays, especially with AI and the new tech keep popping up all the time. I would say to build your own portfolio on GitHub. If you could, contribute to maybe Hugging Face in the open source GitHub, or contribute to PyTorch, TensorFlow, and build your GitHub portfolio and build your own projects. So even though you don't have a tech job right now, when you're interviewing, when you're talking to people, they will be able to see what you have done. So that could be a big stepping stone for a lot of people if that's their first job into tech. Any final words of encouragement for people trying to break into tech? Well, if this is something that you want to do, go for it, and there's no way or nothing that can hold you back. Just be confident about yourself, constantly learning and studying, and be positive. You will get there one day, sooner or later. Just believe in yourself. I do that to myself. I think even to today, I still have a lot of things I don't know of, but I'm willing to learn, and I'm still young, and I guess that's what I would say to you guys. Hopefully it's helpful, and let's keep in touch. Bye!